Hey everybody, it's Casual Boops coming at you with another video, and today we're going to feature the AMX M4 MLE 49, the Tier 8 French Premium Heavy Tank. And before we really get going here, I just want to say, if you're new to the channel, be sure to do the like and subscribe thing, and if you're new to the game, or you're not new to the game and you don't have a clan, the Boops clan exists and is open for membership if people are looking to learn or just to hang out in platoon and stuff. That exists. So anyways, the AMX M4 MLE 49, what is it? It is a French Tier 8, fairly well armored, single shot heavy tank. And it's got a, there's a copy of it, the Liberte. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. This was released along the same time as the Patriot and the Scorpion G, and this was in the era between before, I guess, Wargaming figured out how to make skins on tanks that were removable. So instead, they just made the tank and then made a whole nother tank and called it a different thing. But functionally, the two tanks, like the Patriot and the T-26E5, are the same. And the same goes for the Liberte, which again, probably saying that wrong, and the AMX M4 MLE 49. Those are the same tank. It's all the same. So anyways, what is it? We'll just get right into the stats real quick here and not take too long with this. It's fairly solid. It's a solid tank. It's got five-man crew, so your crew doesn't need to be all that well. You only need a couple of perks on all of them to be in pretty good shape. View range is kind of low, but that's okay. The armor is pretty good, and I'll get into that more. Top speed is okay. Like, overall, it's a standard run-of-the-mill speed-wise for a heavy tank. 40 is nice. You notice the difference, but it's still not a fast tank. The DPM is on the lower side, right? You'll notice that right away. But 300 alpha damage feels okay, right? You're not going to hit for 390, but you're hitting for 300 is still going to outtrade you with 240 alpha guns. And the big thing here is that you get, it's got a 100mm cannon, right? So it's got that familiar 100mm French gun. It's got 232 standard pen though, and a standard AP round. So that means, like, if this was an APCR round, you would have a harder time penetrating things that are well angled. But because it's AP and 232 standard pen, it's a very comfy standard round, right? It, like, gun's a little on the derpy side, but if you let it aim in, 0.35 really gets it done. So, like, 10 degrees of gun depression, like, there's a lot to like about, there it is, a lot to like about this tank. And when it was released, I still remember watching Foch's review, and he was like, yada yada power creep, because at the time when this was released a couple of years ago, this was like the newest, hottest, most brokenest thing. And nowadays people have learned how to deal with it, and obviously power creep continues, so it's not quite as brain dead stupid awesome as it was when it was released, but it's still a really, really strong tank. So yeah, I like it because it's easy to make money. 232 standard pen with AP rounds, so that means they're gonna more likely penetrate. And then if you do tap 2, you get 263 pen with an APCR round with great shell velocity. So, like, the shells are cheap. 1,000 shell cost for 300 damage means you make money. You usually penetrate, and you're not meant to be sniping in this thing. But if you let the gun aim in a little bit, it's a typical, it's a French tank, so it's got French accuracy. But it can really get the job done, right? And so you might be thinking, well, Boops, what's the problem? Why don't I see these everywhere? And that's okay. So the armor is very good, right? If it depends, but just like anything else in this game, big if, it depends on what is shooting at you, right? So if you're in a tier 8 game, this is shooting itself, right? So it's got that great standard pen I was telling you about. So if the great standard pen is shooting you and you're just straight on with no gun depression whatsoever, the cupola is the only thing that somebody's going to reliably penetrate. The lower plate is 120, but it's really, really well angled. The upper plate is 190, and it's also well angled. So, like, this is why I say the tank is almost idiot-proof. Depending on what matchup you're in, you don't need to do anything. It's just front toward enemy, and then maybe you do one of these. You do the turret up. Just do one of these. Wiggle around a little bit to make your cupola a little bit harder to see, and you're in the money. It doesn't ask a lot of you to make this thing work really well. And I know it's tempting to say, boy, in the best case scenario, using all the gun depression, look at how good this can be. And that's true. You do have that. this situation where you're able to use all of your gun depression doesn't happen all that often, so I won't get into that too much, but it is really good. The main drawback here is, of course, this cupola is, because it is near the middle of the tank, right, near the middle of the turret, often what you'll do is wiggle the turret to make the cupola move. Well, because the cupola is right about over the middle of the tank, wiggling the cupola or wiggling the turret doesn't make the cupola move much. So the cupola's there, and it's not that hard to hit, especially if you're at. So you kind of want to. What am I trying to say? Barrel blocking is important. You want to do one of these guys, keep your barrel between your enemy and your cupola, and then also rocking the tank back and forth, like forward and backward, making it a little bit harder to hit is going to be crucial. Or using gun depression is going to help, but this is literally it. I mean, the other thing is, like, okay, in the right situation. So like if you're just front on, and depending on what's shooting at you, again, to your sixes, good luck. Sevens, good luck. Eights. Maybe if you're shooting premium, then you might have a problem. But otherwise, just front toward enemy. Alternatively, you know, if something is because you got the angles of the front hull. If someone is shooting down at you, I've noticed this quite a bit. Felt kind of bad. If someone's shooting down at you, this angly front hull flattens out, right? And so angles, you need to be cognizant of where someone is shooting you from. The armor can be excellent, and the turret again is especially great. But angles matter, right? So if somebody's looking down at you, they see this. That's not good. But if you're level ground, you're in good shape. The other thing is you want to be careful. A lot of tanks, what you can do is you can angle the hull and strengthen your hull, your frontal hull armor, and you can in this tank. However, that also flattens out these shoulder plates, and it's a lot like the mutant, right? In that way, where this is why it's a little bit tough. You can't side scraping is really tough, because if you're if you're doing one of these things, anyone's going to shoot this. So you really need to. It requires a little more finesse to like work around a corner and maybe bait a shot into this. And then once somebody is reloading, then you can pull out and shoot them or something like that. But you basically, where this thing shines is being hull down, ideally using some gun depression, something like this. And if you're not able to do that, maybe you wiggle back and forth, right? So you make it so that this is a little bit like, oh, here it is. Here's a weak spot. Oh, no, there it is. No, it's gone. And it's over here and it's over there. Oh, like make it so that somebody can't quite focus on any one particular little spot. Because if you just sit and dare somebody to shoot you, they will hit you and they will pen. So this is why I say the tank is almost idiot-proof. It is very solid, and the people that, I mean, it's kind of lost some of its luster these last few years because people have learned that there's a cupola. Heaven forbid a tank has a weak spot. But I really think the tank is really, really solid, especially it doesn't ask a lot of you. Obviously, the side armor is cheese. The rear armor is cheese. Just it's front toward enemy. That's what you do. But again, in the right matchups, it is just filthy, like brain dead. Turn your brain off, front toward the enemy, and just mow. So yeah, the armor is great. We'll get into the I guess the equipment. What I would use is just everything about trying to make that gun behave. And then rammer, of course, because we're going to get the DPM to 2000. The DPM is, it's not awesome, right? But you get a better alpha damage than a lot of okay, so 390 alpha guns are going to outtrade you, but you're going to have better DPM, right? So let's compare this to an IS-3. Okay, so you get your IS-3 gets about the same, but it's way derpier, right? So 0.21 and gosh, maybe this is a poor comparison. In any case, you get a lot more forgiveness with regards to the penetration being 232. You notice the difference. You have a similar DPM, but because you have lower alpha means you have higher rate of fire. So it's easier to hold a corner by yourself or with friends because your reload is shorter. And so I don't know. It's you can't just hold down the W key with your forehead and and completely own things unless you're facing tier 6s. But the tank is very solid, and it doesn't ask a lot of you to make everything pretty well behaved. So this is the equipment I would use. Let's see, we cover the armor, and yeah, I think that about covers it. It's all about hull down things and front toward enemy. So without further ado, we'll get into the gameplay. Alright, so in this particular game, we're going to be watching Thunder playing his AMX M4 49. It's the Liberte edition, which is why it looks so French. But yes, so we're going to play on Lakeville in an all tier 8 game, and there's no artillery, which is wow. You know, and I will say, normally I would not... Thunder's going to head to the valley, and I hate to even, like... I don't want people to see this and say, oh my god, he went to the valley, maybe I should go to the valley. Almost never is this a good idea. And like, as I was watching this, I was like, oh my god, Thunder, what are you doing? Like, this is not... Valley is so very hard to have a good game because it's so easy to defend. It's so hard to push out of the valley and be effective. You have to shoot the things in front of you, and it's so easy to be shot back. And if there's even one artillery in the game, they're just going to nuke you for being here. So I do not advise that anyone go here ever. The only reason that Thunder, I'm assuming the only reason the Thunder is because there's no artillery. So anyways, you're noticing a little bit of the French accuracy, right? It was kind of lucky to hit that Renegade, but again, the Renegade's cupola is bigger than the Liberte's, and I would say that it's... Oh my god. See, the French accuracy, right? Nobody complains about the Renegade. Renegade's got a cupola, right? But anyways. But yeah, you're seeing, like, these are good trades, right? This is it hasn't been able to, we haven't needed to shoot premium rounds. And yeah, the gun's a little bit derpy, but it's 390 slamming it home will definitely add up, right? So we're just going to wait and wait and wait. And what you don't want to do is, okay, this is the problem. This is the problem with going the valley on Lakeville. There's a T-28 on the other end of the valley. And like, what are you supposed to do about that? You're not sniping cupola. I mean, good try. But you're not sniping cupolas from 300 yards. And if you are, that guy's going to have a much better shot than you are. So what's the big idea, you know? Now, luckily, it seems like the enemy is kind of just decided to run their face into Thunder very, very slowly. He's going to take a blind shot at the bush where that Lanson was last spotted. But here's the thing. Even if Thunder manages to do this whole thing and hold his own and even have a good game here, he's still depriving the enemy team of his presence in the city, right? So right now, they're a couple tanks down. And I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. This Renegade is, I don't know. I think Renegades were on rental this weekend, so you might see Renegades doing crazy things because nobody knows what they're doing because these are all rentals, and that's, I think, what we're seeing here now. But yeah, so you're noticing Thunder is using gun depression and also hiding his cupola to the best of his ability by looking around this corner, you know, turning right around the corner or whatever, you know, he's using the rock to hide his cupola. So like, this is kind of best case scenario, aside from the fact that he is... French accuracy. He is in the valley, which is just never a good idea. But we just have people YOLO. And again, you can look and see at the minimap. Always keep your eye on the minimap, and you notice that we have 2 tanks in the city now that aren't dead against their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like, that is not going well. And I don't know, like, Thunder's here, like, Thunder is doing things, but there's a Pershing that just got nuked, there's a Lurva that's here hasn't been doing things all game. Like, there's way too many people in the valley. So like, if I could just take this game to tell people to never go to the valley, and then some people listen to me, I would consider that this was a positive set of positive outcomes. So please never go to the valley. It almost never works out. But yeah, you can see here, like, even now, the Lurva wants to shoot things and wants to get over this hill, and he can't, because every time he pokes up high enough to shoot anything, that T-28 has lower plate shots. So, and again, the entire city's gone. So, like, okay, the Thunder's still got, I mean, he's doing things. He's got 2,000 damage, but, like, he's about to... he's about to get nuked, because people are going to come around the backside. He's going to get pinched. So... obviously, Thunder's a good player. He knows these things. He's keeping track of the things. But what do? Soon, you will need to turn around, Thunder. And yeah, and most of the shots that Thunder has taken have been standard rounds. He switched to premium here for these. I think, you know, it's a kind of a dire situation. Now is the time to not be missing shots. But to be honest, all the shots that he's penned haven't really needed to be premium rounds, and everything that he's bounced probably shouldn't have penned anyways, to be honest. Like T28. Doesn't really matter what you shoot out of this thing, you're probably going to have a tough time. Yeah, French accuracy. Okay, so Thunder now sees, now is the time. And not a moment too soon, I think. Or I guess, yeah, any later and he would have been in an even tighter spot than he is right now. But Thunder's going to go back and defend the base at the B2 corner, I think, where this Borsig is trying to do it by himself. Because again, it's just this Leva, it's Thunder, and then it's the Borsig. And so Borsig doesn't really want to be doing this, but there's not really much of a choice. So yeah, this is a perfect example. Thunder's had a pretty okay game in the Valley, but games aren't won and lost in the Valley. So he didn't really. I will say, so far, I will say that Thunder has done a pretty good job of locking down five of the enemy tanks in the Valley. But other than that, I think he would have been better served winning the game in the city. So again, I just want to hammer this home. If you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, this was really good, I should go to the Valley, please never do that. It just hardly ever works out ever. And luckily this Renegade, again, Renegades are on rental, nobody understands. There's cupola, they're doing it all wrong. And so I guess maybe this will work out, but we'll just wait and see what happens here. So now they're not even able to cap because here we go. Thunder's here. He's still got all of his hit points. He's done a really good job to conserve. And this is why, if you can try to early game, try not to eat any more damage than you absolutely have to. And this is why, because now in the late game, everybody's on half hit points at most, and Thunder's got all of them. And so that's a big deal. So now he can afford to drive, if he really, really needs to, he can reset all the cap points, and he can drive in and eat a shot if he absolutely needs to. And you're seeing even now he's using gun depression. Let the French gun aim in and keep things moving around and look down at your enemies, and it strengthens the hull armor pretty substantially. I'm not sure what happened there, Thunder, but okay, let's try again. Again, DPM allows him to do this again pretty shortly, but you just have to be mindful of the cupola. But yeah, you're just, it doesn't ask a lot of you. Thunder's doing the things. He's hull down, aim the gun a little bit, and then there you go. I would just rinse and repeat. Since these guys aren't really pressuring him for some reason, we just get to keep doing this. This is, yeah. But you notice, the view range does kind of let you down a little bit, and Thunder is able to use the dead tank to cover up his little weak spot in the, oh my god, you have to hit this next. Okay, thankfully the Borsig hit the shot and got the reset, because otherwise that was going to be the game. Thunder had whiffed that shot on the Patriot, or I'm sorry, on the Super Pershing, and that was going to be the game. But it doesn't ask a lot of you. It just, Thunder is using that dead tank to hide his angly shoulder plates, and yeah. So luckily Thunder is able to push out and go for the ram, get an extra couple hundred damage, and he's pushed through the cap, and I guess he's got this whole situation basically handled. But what? I'm not sure exactly what just happened there. I don't think, did that Lanson shoot HE and then the thing splashed and killed him? I think that might be what happened. That Lanson killed himself by shooting HE, and Thunder was so close that the splash damage killed the Lanson. So that is rather unique. But now Thunder is going to back up because we've got a T28, an STA1, and a T44 coming in from the Valley. And again, he's done a really good job of, in the late game here, you pick your engagements and choose when to be aggressive. And Thunder has decided that now, when those guys pushed on the cap, that was the time to be aggressive, and not a moment too soon, once again, because if he had waited any longer, these guys would have been able to shoot him in the butt while he was still dealing with their friends. And now that he is close enough to shoot the cupolas of the T28, we can get that 232 standard pen, wait for it, and get it done. These guys are shooting cupolas, and I think that's why he just got snapped in the cupola with the HE round, which is why he had 2 dead crew members. That does suck, but at this point we really don't even need the commander. Like, the commander being dead is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Thunder's going to go ahead and get more resets, right? Because he shot the T28 several times already. The T28 does not have the cap points. Now the STA1 is the one that has the cap points. So we'll get the kill that we can, and then, obviously these guys are all one-shots. Thunder's got 5 kills, And it's looking like these guys are going to screw this up, but we'll just see if we can find a shot. Okay. Thunder's out of dead driver. Good lord. Okay, the module damage has been flying around. This guy must not realize that his cupola is being seen above the T-28. This is just... wow. Okay, so... What? Thunder. Dude, come on, dude. Just aim. Just aim. Get it done. Take your time. What? Take your time, Thunder. Oh my lord. Like, to be honest, I'm not saying it's a good idea, but if I was Thunder, I might have tried to get a Faden's medal here. Shoot all the rest of your ammo and kill this guy in the last shot. Faden's medal? Anyways, I'm not sure that I would have had the presence of mind to do the things that Thunder did when he did them anyways. So, in hindsight, yes, the Faden's medal, dude. Anyways. Alright, so at the end of the game, Thunder ended up taking home 7,189 damage, 7 kills, 1,600 block damage. That gives him a Top Gun, a high caliber, steel wall, what is that, the Defender medal, an ace tanker, of course. What a performance, you know, 2,110 base XP, and a monstrous carry. And then, of course, you know, because he did shoot some of those premium rounds and not all the premium rounds penned, he managed to, you know, cost himself 115,000 in ammo. And I'm not sure. I think Watt Replays has the replay bugged or something like that, because it looks like he only made 131,000 credits, which is a pretty good. I mean, that's okay. And then after expenses, it says that he's got 52,000. So it looks like he made 52,000, but the math doesn't add up. So I'm not really sure exactly how much he actually did make from this. But in any case, you know, I will say that the AMX does generally make really good money. And so, especially if you pen your shots. And so, yeah, congratulations to Thunder and an excellent carry. Once again, though, if you're seeing this, please do not ever go to the Valley on Lakeville, because you'll make casual boops sad. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I guess thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks again to Thunder for sending in the replay. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.